Welcome back everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a roast lamb leg in the Weber kettle. All right, so we're going to be using our standard 57cm Weber kettle, and we'll get started by taking our lid and cooking grate off. I'm just going to move this charcoal basket over to this side. Then I'm going to lay a couple of firelighters down and light them up. Then I'll get my charcoal chimney on top. Then you want to fill that up with lump charcoal or briquettes. Alright, so I've got this beautiful lamb leg we picked up from my butcher at Austral Meat. This one weighs 3 kilos, so I reckon we're going to be looking at around a 2.5 hour cook, give or take around half an hour. This one looks really good actually. I don't think this is going to need much, if any, trimming at all. Maybe a tiny little bit of excess fat I'll get rid of right there. But the rest of that looks really good. Obviously we've got the shank on here. We're going to leave that on for now. And what we're going to do next is just give this a light score across the top. This is just going to help with a bit of flavour penetration. You don't have to do this, but I think it looks nice as well. And then we're just going to give it a light coat in yellow mustard. And this is just going to help our rubs stick to the meat. If you don't have any yellow mustard, you can just use some olive oil if you like. And then a bit of salt, pepper, garlic is always nice. But we're going to be using my lamb layup today. Absolutely love this on a lamb leg. So we're just going to go ahead and give that a nice even coat all over. And then when we flip it back over, want to make sure you get right in those cut marks. Get all that flavour in there. And then we can just mop up any rub we've got left on the cutting board. Now that is good to go once our Weber's ready. Alright, now our briquettes are ready. We'll lift our charcoal chimney up. We'll move our charcoal baskets over either side of that charcoal grate. And then fill them up with our briquettes. And then we just want to make sure both baskets are nice and even, and we just want to pick up any briquettes that have spilt out as well. Alright, and then we'll get our lid on, and make sure our top and bottom vents are wide open, and now we'll give our Weber 5 minutes to preheat. Alright, now our Weber's nice and hot, we'll take the lid off. I'll get a drip tray in between the two charcoal baskets, get our cooking grate back on, and then our beautiful lamb leg right in between the two charcoal baskets. Then we'll get our lid back on and let this start cooking away. Alright, so our lamb leg is in the Weber. It's quite a thick one, so I just want to keep an eye on the two sides that are sitting close to the charcoal baskets. So after about half an hour to 45 minutes, I'll just quickly open the lid and have a look. If they are starting to burn, I can fold up some foil to act as a little heat deflector, or I can just simply loosely cover those sides in foil as well. So we'll come back to check on that once we're a bit further into this cook. I also want to make some crispy potatoes soon, and then later in the video, I'm going to make some chili garlic beans as well. All right, we are almost an hour in, and I'm super happy with the color of this lamb leg. As you can see, we've got this beautiful crust on the outside. I don't want that to get much darker, so what I'm going to do is just cover that loosely in foil. Before I do that, I'm just going to get our wireless thermometer right in the thickest part of our lamb leg, and I'll cover it loosely in foil. I just wanted to tuck those edges in so it didn't send the heat straight up and under that foil. And then we'll get our lid back on, and we'll let this keep cooking away until it reaches around 150 Fahrenheit or 65 degrees Celsius in that thickest part. All right, so our crispy roast potatoes. Now this time is going to vary depending on how big you cut your potatoes, but I'm just going to start by peeling some Kestrel potatoes. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut these to size. I'm just going to cut them in half. Half again, and then I'll probably go 1, 2, 1, 2, and they're roughly around 1 inch sort of cubes. And then I've got some water there, almost up to a boil. Just going to get our potatoes in, then we'll get a good pinch of salt in there, and then we just want to let them go for around 10 to 15 minutes until they're just fork tender. All right, and then once your potatoes are fork tender, we're just going to strain them off. And then we want to just kind of roll them around in our strainer, and that's just going to fluff them up a little bit. Make sure you're being gentle when you're doing this. You don't want to be breaking your potatoes apart everywhere. All right, and then we're going to sit them there for a moment, because now we want to get some duck fat into a tray. We just want to get enough in there so these potatoes can basically shallow fry in there. So I'm going to be using pretty much most of this tub, I reckon. And then in our Weber, we're going to open it up. We're going to make some room by sliding our lamb leg to the front. That way we can get our tray of duck fat in at the back, and we'll get our lid back on and we'll let our duck fat melt down and get nice and hot for a few minutes. All right, now our duck fat's nice and hot, we'll get these potatoes in. Now we could do these potatoes completely in that fat in the tray underneath our lamb leg, but then we wouldn't be able to turn these potatoes, which is what I want to do to get them a nice crisp all over. We're going to turn these around every 15 to 20 minutes. Well, to make life easier, and so you don't have to open the Weber lid so often, you could do these in the oven inside. But for the purpose of this video, we're going to do everything in the Weber. And you don't want to just go ahead and pour all the potatoes in. You don't want that duck fat spitting everywhere and going over the charcoal. Just nice and gentle into the tray. And these are going to crisp up and go nice and super golden brown. We're about an hour and a half into this cook now. Our lamb leg's sitting at 46 degrees Celsius internal, so that needs to climb another 20 degrees Celsius or so. I reckon that'll take about 45 more minutes. So we'll get our lid back on and let this continue to cook away. All right, it's been a bit over half an hour since we last checked in, so I reckon we're about 2 hours and 15 minutes into this lamb leg cook. And my thermometer is saying we have hit temperature. So I always like to just cross-reference the thermometer, and as you can see, we are bang on where we want it to be at that 65 degrees Celsius. So what we'll do now is we'll get this out and we'll just let it rest loosely in some foil for around half an hour to 45 minutes. And our potatoes, we've flipped them once, they're starting to crisp up nicely. Now our lamb legs out, I'll get them in the middle of the Weber. We'll get our lid back on, and they should be done pretty much in time to carve our lamb leg. All right, now these chili garlic green beans, definitely not a traditional side with a roast, but I absolutely love them. So we'll get them into a pan. I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of water, and we're just gonna let them steam for a few minutes just to soften them up. All right, and once they've had a few minutes, we're just gonna open our lid and let that water cook off. And then once all that water's pretty much gone, we're gonna add a tablespoon of soy sauce. Want to get that all nice and covered. And then we've got 2 cloves of crushed garlic and then a good teaspoon of crispy chili oil. And then we just want to give them a good mix, give them another 2 to 3 minutes, and they are done. So they come together super quick and easy, and I absolutely love these. All right, we're just about ready to serve everything up here. As you can see, those potatoes are beautiful, golden and crispy. So we're just going to get them into a bowl. And then what I'm going to do to finish them off is I'm just going to get some of my garlic gold seasoning in there. Give them a little swirl around to get them all nice and coated. And they are now ready to go. All right, so we've got our beautiful crispy potatoes. Let's start carving this lamb leg off. As you can see, still juicy as. Right, just got this end bit. That is really good. And then a roast potato. As you can see, crispy on the outside, beautiful and fluffy on the inside. And then those beans, I already know they're good. So there you have it. There's how you can make roast lamb in the Weber kettle. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask them in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. But for now, that's the end of the video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.